Joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks
I'm
for
going to
having
give
me.
a quick intro and then we're going to do a short video and then we'll get into it. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. So today we're joined by someone who represents the heart of veteran community connection and resilience. Lex Bonilla is a leader within Irreverent Warriors, an organization built on one simple truth. When veterans come together, lives are saved. Through their Silkies hikes and year-round events, Irreverent Warriors creates a space where humor, camaraderie, and authenticity break down walls that many of us carry along after our service. As you navigate your own transition, conversations about mental health aren't just helpful, they're essential. Lex and the Reverent Warriors team have made it their mission to remind veterans that you don't have to face the hard days alone and that connection is one of the most powerful tools you have. Please help me in welcoming Lex Bonilla here to share how community, vulnerability, and a little irreverent can make all the difference during your next chapter. But let me show a quick video, you guys. This is an awesome organization, and I think the video will speak words for it.
When we came home, the people that loved us the most didn't understand us anymore. The people that we were closest to, we couldn't even talk to anymore. We felt isolated, we felt trapped. We felt like we were weird, something was wrong with us. They couldn't understand why we couldn't just get over it. The war's over, you're home now. Why can't you be normal?
We bring veterans together! We bring veterans together! Using humor and camaraderie! Using humor and camaraderie! To improve mental health! To improve mental health! And prevent veteran suicide! And prevent veteran suicide! We bring veterans together! We bring veterans together! Using humor and camaraderie!
This is what works. Reconnecting, having some camaraderie, knowing that we're not alone. Too many of us get lost in the shuffle.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. You know me, I got no problem running towards some crazy, stupid shit. You know that's easy. The hardest part, man. This is the real battle. It's in here.
There is no substitute for family. There's no substitute for a brother reaching out to a brother or a sister reaching out to a sister and saying, you matter. Hey, are you okay? I've got your back right now. Let's talk. And that's what Irreverent Warriors enables.
And you're like, shit, this is what genuine friendship and family feels like. I mean, that's Irreverent Warriors, man.
All right, man, that's a great video. Thank you for joining us, Lex. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, just like the video mentions, it talks about the motto, we bring veterans together, right? I know that we always discuss the 22 veterans who commit suicide each day. And as well aware of now, that has doubled, right? Like that number, that 22 isn't even an accurate figure anymore. So when Irreverent Warriors started, it's using that humor and camaraderie, right? Because as everyone knows, there's one thing that we veterans have is a lot of dark humor, right? We like to have fun. We like to make fun of each other. We are heavy on the you're not defined by your disabilities, right? No one wants to be treated like our injuries. So being around fellow brothers and sisters and getting people out of their homes to be able to kind of have that camaraderie, right? And it doesn't matter whether you choose to speak to anyone or not during these Silkies hikes. It's the fact that I got you out of your home. We've already succeeded. by breaking you out of that funk that you're in, breaking out of that, staying in that survival mode. You know, Irreverent Warriors is a nonprofit, and focusing on the veteran suicide, it's a connection that's formed through Silky's hikes. Silky's is the theme. You wear the silky shorts. It doesn't matter what you wear up top. Everyone has their own theme. Everyone, depending on who you show up with. I have friends who dress like Spider-Man, but they wear their silkies. It works. But again, it makes everyone laugh. It brings people together, right? So it's something that started out in California by a group of guys, and just kind of spread like wildfire. And now it's throughout a lot of major cities in the US and even overseas.
That's amazing. So I'm prior Air Force. What exactly are silkies? I don't understand.
So I am Marine and Army. So silky shorts they go by many names, right? In the Army, we used to call them Ranger panties. But silky shorts are those really short shorts that we wear in the military. Marine Corps are very familiar with them, right? They were the green little really short shorts that we would do our PT in, and that's what we use. They're silkies, and doesn't matter how you design them, where you get them from, that is the requirement. The only requirement is the silky shorts.
So that you could show up with them bedazzled and you'd still be there.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Why don't you tell us more about some of the events? And I know you have the Silkies hikes. What else do you guys do?
So there is quite a few more things going on. Everyone knows the Silkies hikes that happen, and the Silkies hikes are just I guess to better explain, it's like the summit, right? It's that one end of the year big event. But every city in every state has their team, and they're always putting community events together. Again, ways to get the veterans out of the house, whether it's national community events, whether it is volunteering, peer support networks, putting together family events, ways to get the veterans again back out and giving back to the community as well. I don't know where you guys are located, but for instance, I'm over here in Texas, and in Texas, there's always something going on, whether we take them to ball games, equine therapy, we'll do painting and wine. There are cruise events that happen. So there is quite a lot that is happening within the community, and they're promoting this through social media, letting everyone know, hey, connect to our social media page, and we're going to constantly post what's going on. We're reaching out to each other. We're checking on each other because, in essence, what most people don't realize, it's a peer support network, right?
Yeah.
In a non-clinical way, it's the most down-to-earth way. Like, hey, reach out.
Yeah, that's amazing. So for a lot of our members here on screen, we're all transitioning out of the military, and we're dealing with, so many changes and OJTs and things like that. Like, what kind of advice do you have for them that are, to help get them through all these changes?
So there's one thing I realized. So I've been doing Irreverent Warriors hikes for, I want to say, almost 10 years now. I've been doing them for quite a while. And the one thing outside of that, just being in the veteran community, I learned when I retired that there is a huge disconnection between the military, the veteran community. When I retired personally, it was thank you for your service. Walmart's hiring, collect unemployment, good luck. It was that. And And hopefully some people had better exits, but there is no connection preparing you for the veteran community. So we're heavy on, a lot of us are trying to now help brief and navigate through that and go to different installations to kind of, hey, listen, I may not have all the answers, but I know the people who do have the answers. So if you don't remember anything, at least Irreverent Warriors is the place to start, because this is where we plug you into everything going on. There are tons of, depending on the things you enjoy doing, depending on if you have school-age children, there's a ton of resources, tons of organizations, tons of things going on locally and throughout the US that can help you and your family transition, that will help give you purpose. And also I like to say, kill the ego. A lot of us leaving the military, we're not prepared to leave the military. Some of us weren't ready to leave. So my advice, and this is harder for most career service members, because the longer you in, the bigger the ego. You went from I led X amount of troops, Marines, whatever, to now I'm just Alex. And that is a hard pill to swallow. So killing the ego is the first thing. Remember that in the military, you had to write everything down. So don't beat yourself up when you can't remember things when you get out. Write it down. And again, have at least one reference. I know in the Army, when you go to the promotion board, you have to study this guide and know the book, the ins and out of the book. And I tell everyone, just forget about all that. You don't need to memorize everything. Have one place you can go to. Have one place you can go to. Even this conversation now, if you can't remember anything, remember Irreverent Warriors and just reach out to one of us. And we will, you reach out to me, I will send you a list of over 200 organizations and resources that are from service dogs to trips to therapy. Again, it all depends on your needs. So, and that's what we do for each other. We as veterans are all about taking care of our community and our family.
That's amazing. Appreciate you. Danielle has a question.
Sure.
Hi, Alex. I appreciate you coming out today and talking to us. A lot of what you said resonated with me, and I really appreciate organizations such as yours and like Veteran Forest Wars. I saw that they're a big sponsor of you guys's, and I was looking at your events, and I'm really interested in like how you guys are making an impact as far as helping people, especially veterans, and I want to be a part of that. And I was wondering, what are your guys's volunteer opportunities?
So that's a good question, because, as you know, all nonprofits are going to be primarily volunteer led. We are always seeking volunteers. We're always looking for people wanting to find, again, other ways to serve, whether you just want to be on the volunteer side, whether you want to be a part of the leadership team. That is completely up to you. I always encourage people to show up to a hike or two and see how it feels. And I always say one or two because I'm a strong believer no two hikes are the same. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and the hikes that I go to in New York is different than the hikes I go to in Nashville or here in Texas. So you experience different ones. The volunteer thing is, there's always a need for it. There is always a need. And even when we're not doing events, we seek out veterans in the community that are in need, right? Let's say someone is homeless now, or someone is going through a financial hardship. We do what we can to help find them those resources. And that's what we do throughout the year when we're not doing the actual hikes, the fun stuff. So there's always a need for volunteers.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's this event that I want to try out. I wanted to start essentially like a race or a 5K or something that kind of can raise like a fundraiser essentially. And I just been looking for like a program that I can like start that fundraiser with to help that organization raise money. Would your organization be open to that?
Yes, most of us veterans that are a part of the, like, just everyday veterans, that were a part of the Reverend Warriors, we tend to do that naturally. Like, for instance, my birthday is coming up in August, and I'll start something like that. I'll do an event. Hey, I'm raising funds. All these funds are going to this organization. So there is, through the Reverend Warriors homepage, you can actually raise funds and donate there.
Okay. Is there like I saw on the page there's a donation tab and a sponsor tab. So then to start it, would we just do the donation side of it and then contact the organization itself to see if they're interested in being a part of it and putting it like advertising it out there to get veterans out there to participate?
Yes. So if you don't mind me asking, what city are you in?
I'm in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. So there is a chapter over there in Virginia. I would go to the IW page, right? If you go to the Irreverent Warriors homepage, it'll actually give you the list of all the cities, and you can click on them and it'll tell you exactly what their current events, what stuff is going on. But it'll tell you who to reach out to. I would advise you, and this is just my opinion, because it's just like any organization, right? If you want to give some money to someone, do you want to give it to support the Virginia chapter or the overall mission? That's going to be up to you. And that's something that you can think about and you can discuss with them. That way, you're not just giving the donation to, if it goes to the foundation as a whole, but then you wanted some of that to support the local chapter. Once you give it, that's no longer your call.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, interesting.
But anything is greatly appreciated, right? Because all that money is going back to the programs to support all the veterans that we're serving.
Exactly. I think it's a really great thing that there's organizations such as that. So I appreciate you for answering.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Alex, I just wanted to add in there on the website. It's pretty easy. If you go to the Get Involved, like when you go to their website, go to Get Involved and select local communities, a giant US map will pull up, and just click your state, and you'll be able to see what chapters are in that state as a way to get plugged in for those of you who are interested.
Absolutely. And it'll tell you the other events. Like I said, there's cruises. Once you join one of the Facebook pages, you'll start seeing the recommendation for all the other stuff going on, right? There is an Irreverent Warriors recovery page, and that is for anyone who is going through AA, and there's a support. They meet up and they do that online. There is outdoor adventures, for those who there's IW Fitness for the gym rats and those who are going through this healthy journey. There's IW Food, a lot of us that share recipes and do all that stuff. So there's a bit of everything for us.
Thank you, Alex. I was going to ask, it says, what are some of the stories that you've seen when people are on your hikes or your events that really impacted them and helped them?
Well, there's one thing that I noticed, and this was the beginning for myself. For instance, when I first retired, I was very emotionally numb. I wasn't ready to experience life after the military. I thought that I was going to stay in until they said, "Listen, you're done. Your time's up. You've been here too long." But I didn't want to do anything, and I had someone convince me to come out and do this. And being around other veterans, and even after like the first hour or so, I didn't speak to anyone. I didn't want to. You kind of hesitate. You want to feel everybody out. Um, but how welcoming they were, and it didn't matter whether we served together. It's that feeling of that camaraderie, that it's that we didn't have to serve together. We weren't even in the same branch, but we connected. And it's that instant, like, no matter what, I have your back. No matter what you're going through, you're not crazy. I understand. Trust me, we're going through this. And you just start talking, and you don't even have to talk shop. We don't try to trigger anyone else. We don't share war stories and none of that. No, we're just having a good time, and it feels like a bunch of siblings, right? Because we have that rivalry, the branches and all that stuff. And everyone knows the Marine's going to be the loudest, right? You can spot a Marine easily because they'll let you know they're a Marine. Right? Listen, Louis had his mic muted and I still heard it. But it's all love, and we have each other's back. And there's one thing that I noticed is you see the light and the glow come back in so many veterans' faces, males, females, young, old, it doesn't matter. When you served, you see that light come back, right? And you see that hope that they could have been home, but they chose to show up, and they took that first leap, and now they found a tribe. And it is like what I say, getting a tattoo. No one can just get one, right? Like, so you go to one hike and you get this dopamine, this adrenaline, and you just want more. So now I go across the US and go to a lot of these hikes, and you'll run into a lot of the same people, a lot of new people, because they love doing that now. That's their thing. And that's what you want. And every time I go to a new hike, I leave the people that I know behind and I go meet new people. And that just continues to build that. So now when friends come to Texas for a hike, for instance, we have a hike here in Fort Worth happening in next weekend on the 16th, actually. And I tell most of the veterans, hey, any of you guys driving to Texas, I have spare rooms. You guys are more than welcome. And that's what we do. We have each other's back. We support each other. You see that a lot in the veteran community. You see the light come back. And to me, there is nothing more rewarding than them not just hearing it, but knowing, hey, these are my people. They have my back. No matter what I'm going through, they're not judging me for it. We're all fighting something. And they got you. And that, to me, is the most precious thing.
Louis, you have a question?
I do. I appreciate you for doing what you're doing, Alex. Like it's a lot of individuals that are struggling, especially on our community. And you know, uh, I have lost friends because of this, right? Um, and I like what a lot of individuals across the country is trying to bring us together, support groups and stuff like that. So that means a lot. My question for you is, are you guys planning to do an event here in Jacksonville, Florida? It's a huge veteran community, and even though Wounded Warrior is here, um, they do certain events, but communities like this, like I know the Navy, we have two Navy bases. Technically, two Marine Corps bases. The only one is in Kings Bay, Georgia, at the border, but it's like 20 minutes away from us. Um, and I would love to see like a huge event that you guys support, hikes or stuff like that, that be able to partake in here in Jacksonville, Florida.
So if I'm not mistaken, there is a Jacksonville chapter. There is. I was checking to see if they had the Jacksonville hike already.
Somebody
Because
posted that there's one scheduled for May 28th in Jacksonville.
there you go.
Oh, I'm on it. Let's do it.
May 28th. All you have to do is click on the link and sign
Oh, that's my
up.
last day. That's my last day of Seven Eagle, so I will celebrate that. Doing that.
I'm sure your program coordinator will excuse that absence.
Now he's got to get those thigh hugger silkies.
Oh, I'm going with the deep silk kit. Back in the day, I still have it from boot camp here. So hey, let's go.
There you go. Listen, all you need is that, like I said, everyone has a different theme. If you go to their Facebook page, also they'll post it. They'll say, hey, like I've been to one, they said this is 80s theme night, right? So like Fridays you have the meet and greet, and then Saturdays is the Silkies hike. You can follow the theme. You don't have to. Listen, also for the females, I know a lot of females that the first time they do the hikes, they don't bring silkies. They'll dress however they dress because the whole point is to show up, right? It's whatever you're comfortable with. But I can promise you that the second time they do the hike, they're wearing silkies. They're like, yeah, no, we got this. But I knew there was a Jacksonville one.
Hey, do you guys accept us non-marine type? You know what I'm saying? I never wear silkies in my life, but I'll damn sure go buy some.
Yeah.
You know,
Listen,
Navy, us Navy folk, we still love our Marines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but remember, honestly, that's why we are called the mail department. That's the
Yes,
specific
sir. Let 'em
reason,
know.
I'm just saying.
Males, but the children's mail. The children's department. It's still mail, but it's the children's. You know what I'm saying?
see, that never gets old. No, listen, it's the same as I have a ton of Air Force friends that show up to Silky's hikes, and it doesn't matter. All branches, I mean, Coast Guard, we have some Space Force. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you are a veteran, whether you're active, Guard, Reserve, does not matter. The hike is only for the military personnel, right? So any family members, any of that stuff, they can be part of the support team. They can't be in the hike itself. But listen, the PX or the NX, they sell the silky shorts. And there are plenty of websites also where you can get some custom. I mean, I have two silkies that I wear all the time, and it's usually either the one with my Puerto Rican flag on it or the other one with they have combat ducks. I mean, again, people have different themes. They create their own. Some guys wear their own version of silky shorts, right? Which are like really, really short Daisy Dukes jean shorts. So it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Randy, did you have a question?
Yeah, hey Alex, thanks for coming in. I just wanted to know if you had any more information for the IW groups within New York. I looked them up and I saw that you guys have 3 groups, one in Buffalo, one in Albany, and one in New York City, but I don't see they have any events going on.
Are you in the city or upstate?
I'm in upstate.
Okay. So the one for New York is in the city. I know that. However, I will tell you that for New York, so they were supposed to have their Silkies hike in August, which is this year that didn't happen because they switched out coordinators. So they wanted to allow this coordinator the chance to kind of get his feet wet and all that before they kind of throw him into the wolves. Because as you know, in New York, it's a logistical problem, right? You just need permits for everything to cross the street. So they're working on that. So the hike that was supposed to happen this August, that one got delayed. But I will tell you, go to the Facebook page. When you go to their Irreverent Warriors and you join their Facebook page, you will find the cities. Even if it's not your city, listen, join it. Because you're going to start getting all kinds of information and they'll tell you when there's events happening. And that way, if you decide one day, hey, you know what, I'm going to be driving to this place, that you want that information. People will post up all that stuff. So I will tell you, just stay tuned, kind of check it out. But just because you're in New York doesn't limit you to just New York. Like I was there a couple of months ago in DC. We did a night hike and it took us through all the monuments and everything at night. You can go to the Virginia one, you can go to the Philly one. That's I think next week as well. So you don't have to just stay in your area. I hope that answered that.
It did. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for the questions. You mentioned you guys also have Facebook. Would that be a good avenue to learn more about it? Or is it both website, Facebook, LinkedIn? Not sure which platform is the best. There's so many nowadays.
So the overall information, like from a sponsor, from like for educational purposes, let's say the irreverentwarriors.org website is your go-to website, right? But when you want to know what's happening in your community, then I encourage you to check out their social media page, right? But you can also find that through the irreverentwarriors.org. When you click on the city, like someone mentioned earlier, when you click on the city and all that and the state, it'll tell you and it'll show you the social media handle. It'll either take you there or just on Facebook, search IW and the city, and it'll give you a list. And it asks you just a couple of questions, you know, are you a veteran or active guard? You know, it asks you to not, you know, like let's keep this respectful. So it's just like 3 questions, and then the admin will approve you and you'll start seeing everything from there. I will tell you that every Facebook page, every city and all that stuff, they run their pages. So depends on their level of humor, you know, that's where they let the veterans kind of have a little meme war and certain things. But again, it's all in good fun. They try to keep it respectful and tasteful at least.
Awesome. So looking ahead, what are the hopes for the future of IW and the veteran community it serves?
I think that for, you know, the overall mission is to one day kind of be able to say that that number that originally started, right, the 22 number isn't even an issue anymore, right? You know, it's the unfortunate thing that's happening. We're losing more friends and family outside of the war than we did during the war, and it's a problem. A lot of us are struggling. So I think that the overall mission looking forward is to be able to know that everyone in our communities have gotten the message, right? That you're not alone, that we're here, right? That you don't have to face these things alone, right? Come out, be a part of this, you know? And again, you'd be surprised. Everyone gives excuses. Everyone's going to say, no, I don't want to. You hear a Silky's hike, you know, and most non-Army or Marine Corps military, they hear a hike and they're like, nope, I'm staying home, right? It's not our kind of hike, right? We go through major cities, towns, and all this stuff. We have people of all abilities. We have people in wheelchairs, amputees, young, old, and it's just, again, raising awareness. We want the people in all these cities and towns to see us, to know that we are a family, we're a community. And that is our overall mission, right? Is to just improve that veteran outlook, is to let everyone know that we have each other.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you mentioned like everybody should be able to find a friend if you go. You have all the branches, you know, just the collection of different people, different backgrounds, different jobs, different, you know, so that's pretty amazing. I bet there's a lot of different personalities too to bring it all in together.
There is, you know, our DC coordinator, she's an Air Force veteran. And they do great things in DC for instance, a lot. California, a few other places, you know, the coordinators are Marine Corps veterans. It's you know, so it's a little different, but it's still great. And that's why I say it's. I tell people that each one is going to feel like a different installation, a different duty station, right? You know, like when you first join the military, you often hear, don't judge the military by your first duty station, right? Wait till you get to another place before you decide whether this is for you or not. So it's like that. I encourage everyone to just sign up for one and give it a chance.
Did I see a video of an event where you guys went skydiving?
Yes, so there is an Irreverent Warriors Adventures. And this is where we get a bunch of veterans to sign up to do some of these things. Whether it's skydiving, bungee jumping, off-roading, doing all kinds of stuff, whitewater rafting, doesn't matter.
That's amazing. Louis, do you have a question?
Yes, I don't think about. Do I hear right? You were a Marine and then become, well, always gonna be a Marine, but you be a Marine and then became an Army?
Yes.
Why that change? If you don't mind answering that question.
So when I went in, it was in the 90s. Nothing happened in the 90s. I went back home to New York and I was teaching a fourth grade class when 9/11 happened. And during that time, they weren't taking prior service. So I wanted to go back in. The Army recruiter kept harassing me for like a week straight, and he convinced me to cross over. So I said, you know what, let's do this. And the rest was history. I made a career in the Army.
I appreciate you for that because that's what I wanted to see because it's this like drastic change coming from like me. I was supposed to join the Army, and then the recruiter came out and talked crap to me in the office, telling me I would never be a Marine. And I look at him like, watch. And then that's how he got me. So
he got you. He knew.
Yeah. And especially you mentioned you're Puerto Rican. In Puerto Rico, the Army is big. So seeing Marines in Puerto Rico is extremely rare. Like I did recruiting in Puerto Rico and we were only 11 Marines in the entire island. And with the reserve unit that we have there, totally we're less than 75 Marines across the entire island. So everything you see is Army National Guard, Army, Army. So for me I went to see the Army recruiter, and then this guy came with his dress blues, and I'm just looking at him like, damn. And he looked at me down and was like, you will never be one of us. I was like, okay, whatever. Look at this fool. And then look, 20 years later, I retired from the Marine Corps.
See, he took a different approach and he got you with that one. So that was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, absolutely.
That was great.
So there's a lot of talent across the board here. If people are wanting to support the mission, what are some opportunities or the best ways that they can help you guys in anything?
I would encourage you guys, because I'm assuming that everyone here is from different cities and states, correct?
Correct.
I would encourage you guys to reach out to the local chapters because it starts out in your own community, right? You're living there. You're going to be stepping out and seeing your own community and seeing a need, and you're going to want to do that. So I would reach out to the local communities and to the IW coordinators. Trust me when I tell you that they are very welcoming. They're going to want you to be a part of that. Like, hey, we welcome especially newbies. Like, oh, it's your first time. Listen, even your first time hike, we give you a special bracelet so everyone knows that you're the new one, right? And that's a great thing because everyone, you know, they gravitate towards you and they welcome you in. You will leave out of there with at least a dozen or more new Facebook friends or people in your area, right? And that's how it starts. So start in your local community coordinator, or at least the closest to you, because that's how it's going to start. You know, I know the needs of everything in my area. There is so many chapters and everyone has a different thing. You know, I have there's even some overseas. We have a UK chapter. You know, I have my son, he's in Italy right now. There's the Normandy, there's Germany. So it's everywhere. And we all get together in groups and we go do these things.
That's
So
amazing.
I would start with the community first.
All right. I posted the event sign up and your organization page. So if anybody wants to click on those links, those are available. William, you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. I appreciate the way that you're sharing everything, and it's always helpful for people. So thanks for your commitment and your time, brother.
Oh, thank you. I was trying to find the chat on this thing. I if you search Lex Bonilla, if you can't remember any of this, listen, you can find me on Facebook. You can shoot me a message. Just remind me, you know, hey, we met on this day, and I will point you in the right direction. I will tell you what's available in your area, or if you need other resources, listen, reach out. Understand that it's kill the ego. And I promise you that when you say you don't have one, you have one. It's leave that at the door and understand that you're not the only one going through what you're going through, so you don't have to go through it alone. Reach out. Even if it's just to say what's up. So there's a lot of information, and Irreverent Warriors is doing a lot of great things. Each town, each city has a lot of great things they're doing. You know, I just started getting families to do painting and wine while the kids are in bouncy castles and doing stuff. Bowling. We have cigar nights and just so forth. Yes, there's cigar nights in a lot of locations. We have a lot of vendors in these areas. They like to donate all the cigars. And we're just trying to help break the stigma and kind of ease that transition, right? At least make life a little bit easier. So for you guys that are transitioning out of the military, it's gonna feel rough, right? Because most of us are in survival mode, and that's all we know. And it's kind of rewiring your brain and slowing down. And you might not know how to slow down at first, because now that chaos feels peaceful and the peace feels uncomfortable. So sit with it. That's sit with it, the uncomfortableness, and reach out. And I promise you, I'm telling you, don't make the mistake many of us made, where we waited a long time before reaching out and being a part of any of the organizations. Don't wait. Transition, just jump right in, or do it now. You know, Lewis, like you said, there's one happening in Jacksonville. Just jump right into that. And that transition from military to civilian will go so smooth.
So that for the Jacksonville one, it was March 28th. It already happened. So yeah, not May. If it was May, it would be amazing. But I just looked into it to sign up, and it was March 28th. So I missed that. But hey,
Listen.
I will stay in the lookout, because those events will bring. That's how those events, I have met really, really good friends across the community by just showing up to those events. And you know, especially now that I'll be transitioning out with that title, veteran, right? It is amazing that every branch will unite together to bring peace in our minds, right? And be there for each other, and help each other out, because honestly, not a lot of people, I want to say, I don't want to, well, I will say it, you know, the corporate world, they don't face the challenges that we do face, you know, the PCSs, the losses of friends, you know, our kids suffering from moving every 3 4 years and stuff like that, so that create a little bit of inconsistency, especially when you bonded together um for so many years with these people, when you started building those relationships in place, now it's time for you to move. You know what I'm saying? So um these communities remind us like, hey, no matter where we're from, no matter what branch you're from, you know what I'm saying, we struggle the same, we love each other, and we're gonna take care of each other. And the best nights I ever had was with veterans. Like here in Jacksonville, in my old community, I used to have a high, heavy Navy Chiefs in my old community. I was the only Marine in my community. I was active at the time. So it was amazing sitting down and talk crap, smoke a cigar, whiskey, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what, we all go through our demons, right? And I will tell you, I lost friends in combat, and this reminds me that I'm grateful that I'm alive, that I'm grateful that I can continue to bring those names up and live the life that they want to live. And I know they're looking down to us and say, you know what, I might not be here, but I'm protecting you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of responsibility that we as service members should have for the individuals that we have lost in the past, right? Or and you don't know who's struggling at the time, but your presence, that phone call, that hey, is there anything that you need today for? Like the reaching out can save a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Because I still have talked to Marines that literally got kicked out, and they call me, hey man, I'm struggling. What's up, bro? What do you need? Like, do you need me to go to your house? Do you need me like send somebody? No, I just need to talk. Need somebody to listen. You know what I'm saying? So it's the availability. So I appreciate you because even though most of us kind of cake it or whatever, right? And we fake the fun, we fake until we make it. It's a rough patch. It's a rough patch, especially when everything is unknown. And people like you that do this, it make it better for us. So I put my hat to you, take my hat to you. I appreciate you all, Semper Fidelis, and man, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will leave you with this. This is something that was hard for me to grasp initially. Most of us exit the military. Doesn't matter whether you were kicked out, discharged, medically discharged, retired, doesn't matter. We all get out of the military and we all come from all walks of life. So we have different, perspectives of our time in the military, plus the different branches. But we get out of the military and for whatever reason, we put away our uniforms. Some choose to never see it again. Some will put it up on the wall, but we kind of isolate ourselves. And we tend to isolate ourselves and we do that. And you have this mindset of, oh, I'm taking everything I learned in the military. I got this. I got this. And I call it death of 1,000 cuts because it's that slow burn. You don't realize just how disconnected you're becoming every day because you isolated yourself from everyone until you start to realize, oh man, I don't even have interest in the things I used to anymore. I don't even want to go out and do these things anymore because you got so used to being by yourself thinking, I got this. So now problems are happening and you are thinking like, oh, I'm the only one going through this. I'm losing my mind. And you go down that rabbit hole, forgetting the one main thing. When you join the military, I don't care what job you had in the military, how secret squirrel it was, whatever it is that you did, it did not matter. No one did anything alone, right? The Army practices battle buddy system. Everybody has their own thing. No one is alone. Doesn't matter whether you're breaching, whether you're working supply, medical, does not matter. Everyone has a team. And when we leave, we forget that there's that team. And this is where organizations like Irreverent Warriors comes in like, hey, listen, this is your team. Irreverent Warriors as a whole, this is the brigade here. And everyone has their own installations, their own chapters, their own companies. Reach out. Reach out. Because even if you don't want to share your problems, right? Because we're too tough, it's just having a conversation with someone because we'll recognize it. The moment you start talking to me, I will pick it up right away and be like, okay, I know you just need someone to talk to. And that goes a long way. The moment you know you're not alone, that's it. This becomes your next why, right? And it helps you figure out where you want to be next. And for most of us, that's what happened. I never thought that I'd be doing this for as many years that I've been doing this. And this is what actually, thanks to Irreverent Warriors, it helped me. I went back to school and I got my associates, my bachelor's, my master's, a second master's. I'm in my last year of my doctorate in clinical psychology. And I've been in mental health working for the last 10 years. And that was because, going to events with them and seeing the light come back in people, I'm like, you know what? I want to be on that side. I want to help people come out on that side. And when they're ready to change, and like, that's where I want to be. So listen, reach out. You guys took the biggest step, even having me here. Reach out. I put my name on the chat in case anyone wants to ever send a message on Facebook or a friend request and all that, and you can take it from there.
Thank you so much, Lex. We did put your Facebook link on there too, so you might get a few Facebook friend requests. I saw a few people sign up too. That's really amazing, you guys. Definitely focus on you and your health while you go through this transition. You have a whole community here at IW, so reach out to them. And Lex, if you guys ever need anything from the Seven Eagle family, we're here as well.
Awesome. This is awesome, you guys. I honestly wish each and every one of you good luck on your journey. Anyone facing injuries, whether they're visible or non-visible, listen, you're not defined by your disabilities, no matter what others might tell you or what you're telling yourself. So this makes you stronger. Being here is going to make you stronger, right? So welcome to the family.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate your time, appreciate your words, appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you guys. And hope to hear from some of you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Lex. Man,
Hey,
you're doing
thank
the
you.
Lord's work. You're doing the Lord's work, brother.
I appreciate you.
I'll be praying for you, man. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
outstanding what you guys are doing, dude. Like,